So we're live with the first ever live Q&A, and we're in this wonderful studio which is owned by Distance, who's our first guest. So thanks, Distance.
Live Q&A.
So we're going to open up this live Q&A session to you. So the best thing to do is at the bottom of the comments there, hit us up with any questions, comments, queries. There's loads going on in terms of the world of Distance, including this. I've got some questions about the front cover before we even get into the tune. So any questions you've got, hit us up in the comments and we'll ask him live right here and we'll interact with you. So before we do that, how's things?
Things are good.
All good? It's a new album out.
Yeah.
What's that, 2 weeks now?
Yeah. 2 weeks tomorrow. Yeah.
All right, so that's out now on Tectonics. You can get that here. You've got a copy of it on vinyl. It's also on CD and also digital, of course. So we're going to talk about that. So let's go into, I guess, when did the idea of the album come around? Was it something you've been looking at for a while?
It was actually the middle of last year where I'd just been doing so many other projects for like other people, and then I just kind of realised that I had so much material, again, like kind of written from other people, and then when I sat and listened to it, I was like, actually, like, this is all really cool. I'm kind of fed up of waiting for people, so I was like, right, let's do an album, and then I just in passing kind of mentioned it to Pinch. I was like, oh, I'm thinking about doing an album. Yeah. And straight away was like, I'll do it. And I was like, oh, cool. Because everyone says, why don't you do it on chest plate? But then the thing for me is I don't want to think about promoting my own album. Like, I just want to focus on the music. And then that was it, really. I kind of had loads of like little ideas started. And then just spent, it was more or less 3 months, like from about March. And then I finished in July. So like 3 months to just kind of sit with little ideas and just try and work on them. And then... That was it, really.
And obviously Tectonics, a relationship you've had for a long time as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That wasn't a hard decision to make.
Nah.
Rob's got a good ear and trust, isn't it? So.
And it's just nice to have someone else to bounce, to like send the stuff to, and someone that I trust.
Yeah.
So that was another reason why I wanted to do it with Rob as well.
Gotcha. So talk to us about this front cover, because in case you haven't noticed, that should look a little bit familiar. So that is your face, right?
That is my
How
face.
did that come about, and how did you get that on there?
So basically, the whole idea was, we've got a band playing downstairs now. So basically, the whole idea was when I was writing the album, kind of like as it was shaping up, some more and more tunes were kind of having orchestral elements and kind of like this classical cinematic feel, but beats and bass, So I just had this whole idea of like kind of like a classical feel, but then with like a futuristic theme.
Yeah.
So then for ages I wanted to do a release where like I did like all these different life casts of my face, basically, because I used to do that as a job. I used to cast people's faces.
Yeah.
So
right.
poor. Yeah. So poor Rach, she had to like cast my face. We did 2. And that was the one that came out kind of okay.
Yeah. And
then I photographed it, and then I told Zach, who's Mesk, my idea for the cover, and he wanted to do it. And then, but then at the same time, I'd kind of discovered this whole new style of graffiti, or I don't know how new it is, but it's just kind of called calligraffiti, whereas graffiti kind of is calligraphy anyway, the way people write it with certain markers.
Yeah.
And so that was it, really. I kind of sent him ideas that I had and images I liked.
Yeah.
And then that's just what we came up with. I always had the idea of like the face kind of being like the classical element.
Yeah.
And then whatever the text was to be kind of like the modern.
So how much input did Mesk have on that? Is that all Mesk?
Yeah, so all of the text, that's all of his hand. Like
shout out to Mesk on that. Great work.
And obviously, I mean, the mask I sent him didn't. He's done his magic and made it look better than it did look. So, but yeah, I mean, hats off to him, it's wicked.
So in terms of genre, it's not dubstep, it's Distance, right?
Yeah. And that was the point with this, because for me, I don't know, I feel like, the lines between scenes just seem to be merging more and more together, like drum and bass, it's just like, and I'm interested in all styles. So I just thought, fuck it, I just want to, I'm just going to make whatever. And plus, I think that's come around more and more by producing for other people, because it's just, I don't even pick the tempo. They're like, give me something to work on, or I'd write to something at 80 BPM or 90. So I just kind of thought, well, that feels comfortable to just do whatever I want. So.
Yeah, gotcha. So just a quick shout out to a few people locked in. We got Cheen. He said saw the album Derp. We've also got Alexander Birchfield as well. Good to have you locked in, guys. We got Taylor Miller. And we got Paul Beecham as well. So if you've got any questions, hit us up. We've got them right in front of us here, and we'll ask him live in this live stream Q&A. So Chestplate then. So Sleeper release coming up, or I think promos come this week.
That's right.
Box. So what's sort of next plan for the next few?
Oh, I don't know yet.
Right.
That's just quite worrying. But I'm just finding it hard to find music that I want to put out, and I've never wanted Chestplate to be for me to just release anything just to keep the label, current or in people's faces. So, but I've got some new stuff from Mesk that I got not too long ago, so that's a possibility. And there could be stuff from me. I'm just kind of looking to find new artists as well, really. So, anyone watching who makes anything, any tempo, anything, send it to chestplate@hotmail.co.uk. If I like it, it might end up on Chestplate. You never know.
So, in terms of, have you ever had a vocal release on Chestplate? That won't be your question.
Well, Falling. That was released on Ireland.
Yeah.
Bro. But they let me press it on Chestplate. If you see what I mean, for vinyl.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only vocal.
So on the album, obviously you got Killer P, Beezy. So I mean, I know you've done work in the background in vocal, but what was that like? Laying down beats with MCs, and
it's wicked. I like it. I mean, to be honest, I think I would rather just do vocal tunes. I love working with vocalists, and I met Killer P when we did the Red Bull Culture Clash. It was like Tectonic had a stage. And that was in February, and then when I said Rob, obviously beats for the album. He was like, "Oh, that tune, you should send it to Killer." So I was like, "Let's do it." And then he was into it, and he came here, and then that was it, really.
Gotcha.
But he's wicked. He don't write nothing down.
Really?
Just turns up. Yeah.
We've got a question from Rachel Ablett. Says, "What's your favourite song you've ever produced?" That's a great question. A tough one.
That is really, really hard. I don't know. It might actually be something on this album. Actually, I think maybe the first track on this album, "Instruction to Survive."
Yeah,
it's one of my favourites. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Rachel. And also Joseph Shellabar just says, "Is that a Tech Life shirt?"
It is. I know. I mean,
represented.
Everyone's got one, haven't they? Do you know what I mean?
And then Jeff Lundgaard says, "Who are some of the producers, MCs, labels you'd like to work with?"
Oh, MCs and producers.
These questions aren't easy, are they?
They're not actually. Producers. I mean, I'm looking to just. I really like the idea of just working with different people. Like, I've been speaking to Scratcher, DVA, and his stuff is kind of, like his album that's just come out is completely different from my album. But then I like the idea of working with people like that because. This means we're bound to create something crazy.
Yeah, of course.
Terror Danger hit me up recently, and I've known him for. I've kind of known him on and off. As in, we had an awful gig together in Greece somewhere. I mean, it was awful. And but we got on quite well then, and I've always kind of, when I've seen him at festivals or whatever. So I posted up a little clip of something on Instagram, and straight away it was like, we need to collab. So I might do something with him. Had Youngster in here on Monday.
Yeah.
So. But as in other people, it'd be wicked to work with just people outside of.
So how far did you get with Youngster? He's here this week.
He was here on Monday.
Did you get much laid down?
we got like the bare bones.
Yeah.
So next time it'll be trying to round it up.
Gotcha.
Into a tune.
Somebody else has gone. What's the longest distance you've ever walked? Love it.
It's probably about 6 miles.
The pun, eh?
6 miles, I think.
6 mile walk. Is that it?
I don't know. Who knows?
I walk further for a bus.
It's the only walk I can think of that I can remember the distance of. So.
And here we go. So Tanner Pennington says, "Would like to see you back in Denver soon. Your live set's always a treat." So nice little comment there.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I need to get the visa sorted. So
be back out there. And then we've got another question here from Joseph as well. He goes, "Will you be working with Pinch anymore? Really enjoyed the work you did. So that brings us on to deleted scenes.
Yeah.
So deleted scenes. For those of you that don't know, deleted scenes, pinch, distance equals deleted scenes. So what's happening there then?
So, I mean, we've got a load of material that we wrote last year that's just been sitting there.
Yeah.
It's pretty much finished, and that's all different tempos. And then literally in the last month, we've kind of half or almost written about 4 tunes. So we're working on an album. That's the idea.
Right.
We've already started getting a few vocalists on some bits. So it's happening, but again, it's going to be one of them things where it's going to be looking beyond just what me and him do individually. You see what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, he's wicked. Like, he just, I send him something, and he sends it back, and every time I'm just like, fuck, like, he's just taken my idea, but done his own. So yeah, it always works. It always works really, really well.
Cool. So that is in progress. And then tomorrow night, might as well jump in on this bit, is we've got GetDarker 10 years with Control Sound. Big up the Control Sound guys. It's been an absolute honour to work with them guys. They are one of the most organised crews I think I've ever worked with. So big up Control guys. Tomorrow night we've got a huge night down at Lightbox and Fire, RC1 sound system. Come on to that in a minute. We've also got deleted scenes playing. Vinyl set only for 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hour back to back with Pinch. So if you're in London, there's only probably about 50 tickets left, so you better be quick because it is going to sell out. So
it'll be a big night.
That'll be good. We've got a message from Book's Finest. He goes,
Book's Finest.
Yeah, he goes, when will you collab with me? So
yeah,
and he says, get well soon. By the way,
thank you, Ken. That means a lot. Yeah, I did. I swear I messaged you the other day saying I want to do a collab. So yeah, I'm up for it. I'll send you some stuff next week.
Yeah, there we go. And send me the finished copy because I hooked this up, right? This track.
Yeah.
Right. So keep these questions coming in. We've also got what's your most used VST stroke plugin? Sequence it, mate.
I'll give you 2, so maybe like a synth, and then just like another plug-in, like a equalizer or something. But anyway, yeah, I would say probably Absinthe by Native Instruments, and then the Waves R-Comp. And another one, and the Waves Axe compressor. There you go.
There you go. So what's going on behind us then? What you got? There's speakers.
Oh yeah,
that sort of small.
Yeah. So these are big Genelecs.
Right.
If you've ever been lucky enough to go to Transition Mastering Studio, big up Jason by the way.
Yeah.
That's what he's got in his studio. So for me, cutting dub plates with him, everything I used to make, I used to go there to cut it. I would hear it on them speakers, and straight away I would hear all the problems with my tunes. So it'd always been my ambition to get a set.
Yeah.
Someone was selling them dirt cheap on eBay.
Really?
Yeah, and I got them. I mean, I think they were like $3,000 each, and I think I got them for back. I mean, this was years ago. I got them for like $1,800 for 2.
Wow.
So, but that was back. I mean, you can get them cheaper now. You probably get them for about $1,600 now.
Yeah.
And then these other little things. These are called Minimus 7s, and I think that they are basically like, you know, we used to have Tandy in England.
Yeah.
So Realistic was part of Radio Shack, which is America's version. So they're like cheap rubbish bookshelf speakers, but I love them, and really? I use them so that I can flip between like a wicked speaker and then just like your normal speaker. So because normally you'd go into your car, play in your car, you can hear. You know, you're just used to your car and how things sound. Yeah. And then when I flip it to them, it's the same thing. When you flip it onto a smaller speaker, you just kind of go, oh, you know, that's not loud enough. Or it's really good for vocals as well.
And running software-wise, Cubase?
Yeah, Cubase. Yep.
There you go, little sneak preview.
Mm.
So we've got another question. So this one's from Book's Fine as well. Would you let us know how your main master chain looks? Which plugin is doing what? Oh.
So probably only about 1.5 years ago, I actually had a master. I never ever used to put anything on my master channel ever for like only since a year ago. So
Yeah.
I'm very new to master chains. But at the moment, it varies with every tune. Like sometimes I still don't have a master chain, but at the moment, I have like a bus compressor first, which is normally the slate grey compressor, and then followed by an EQ. Sometimes it's a Pultec EQ, sometimes it's just the Q8, like the Waves Q EQs, and then it's probably just a limiter at the end. Sometimes the L2, sometimes the Fab Filter Pro L. That's it. But sometimes I don't have anything. So.
Right. Another question from Jet Blungard. He says, "Can we expect to see some more videos like a result of sound? Any VIP of that bad boy tune, by the way? Question mark.
There's
Is there
not
a VIP of that?
No, there's not a VIP of it. I was back then. I asked Icicle to remix it, and then I forgot, and then he forgot. So that was something I was trying to make happen.
So if anyone's got Twitter in front of them, drop us a little message.
Yeah,
Get him on that. And then there we go. And then Corey Still says, result of sound VIP would be huge. There we
yeah.
go.
I've got it. I've got all the stems, so it could happen. Yeah.
So if you've got any questions for us, just write them in the comments below. We'll get you well involved. Just make sure I haven't missed any, because there's loads coming through now. So in terms of albums out, Chestplate's got the next release signed. I mean, you posted something up on Instagram a little while ago about live.
Yeah.
So what, distance live show, or where are you taking that?
Yeah. So because the album is all very varied tempos, it's not easy for me to DJ. It's going to be like fade, drop. Do you know what I mean? So I thought the best way to try and represent it would to be able to do it live. So it's almost ready. So that's basically Ableton, and I'm using Machine, which is by Nave Instruments.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ableton with Machine basically. But I can't say how deep I'm going to go with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's some tunes where I might try and actually do some of the drumming live. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah,
We'll have to do a little test pre-run and do it live here.
that is exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to say that to you actually. So yeah.
Give that a go, and then
Yeah.
so in terms of another thing I've been seeing you talk about recently is sample packs.
Okay. Yeah.
So what are you up to there?
I've actually been working on it today as it goes.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I did a sample pack years ago for Future Loops.
Yeah.
And then, but then more recently, I started using Bandcamp just to sell like an EP, and then I just saw how powerful that was, and how like you've got direct access to the people buying your stuff, and through that, you kind of build like a following, and then as soon as I release something, they'll know,
Yeah.
So I thought that'd be a perfect platform to do something like a sample pack, whereas before I've not really seen a way of me doing it other than doing it through a big brand, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just going to be, I'm trying to decide whether to do a sample pack that just is everything, so it's like atmospheres, loops, drums, bass, or doing one that's just drums, then one that's just literally just like, I don't know, crazy atmospheres for people just to drop into their tunes, or I don't know. So that's my idea. There might be like a series of different sample packs, basically.
Cool. Okay.
But I'm planning on releasing one on my Bandcamp before Christmas. So
There you go. Heard it here first. Keep an eye out for that. There's loads coming in now. This is going to be a nightmare to keep up with. So bear with me. So is there a genre you've always wanted to produce but never really liked what you laid down, and it stopped you trying?
Not now. I mean, years ago, when I first started making drum and bass, so I had two tunes come out on Autonomic, which was D Bridges and Monica's label.
Yeah.
So to get to that point, there was a few tunes that I knew just weren't right, but not really. No, I'm not. I go if there's a style of music I want to make, like I go mad on just like so anal on getting it right, and it's always to do with the mix down. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not so much a creative thing. It's drum and bass has a very different mix down to dubstep, although they were really similar for a little while.
Yeah.
But it seems to have gone back to the original dubstep way of doing things, and then hip hop is very different, and then you've got how there's just so many different things. They're just mixed totally differently, But,
made any secret house tunes?
Have I made any secret house tunes? No, but the project I did with Riz MC, there's a few house, like some of the tracks I've made for him are kind of on a houseier. So I spent a lot of time listening to Disclosure and stuff like that to now the mix down.
Favourite producers at the moment? I want your answer to these. Corey Steele. This is a Q&A with Distance, not me. Favourite producer at the moment? Anyone in particular you can sort of...
I'm a massive fan of a guy called Arca.
Yeah.
Who's just like an electronic producer. He's not really in a scene, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Is in the scene of dubstep. There's a few. I couldn't really pick one. Sleeper continuously progresses all the time.
Yeah.
Komodo, Book's Finest, District. There's a few. It's hard. Like you must know yourself. It's hard to find.
Yeah, of course.
Really good stuff at the moment. Like it just seems a lot of people either trying to hold on to a sound that for me is gone, or they're just making stuff I'm not interested in.
Yeah,
I suppose. But I quite like all the stuff. But this isn't me naming a producer. But I like the whole kind of the whole sound that Plastician's on as well. That kind of thing, and the kind of JD Reed. I quite like the whole hip hoppy integration with like the UK sound. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean like straight. That's my whole thing with the wave thing is it all kind of, I can't tell a producer from a producer. I feel like the whole wave thing, they all just sound too similar. Whereas I think it needs a few producers that have like their own sound. A bit like how back in the day with dubstep, you knew a Benga tune, you knew a Mala tune, but all from the mix down. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's going to happen. I feel like we're on the brink of a new sound. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you've got this weird kind of trappy sound, and then you've got this drum and bass that isn't quite drum and bass, and it's a little bit hip hop. I feel like it's all going to suddenly go bang. Oh, this is whatever someone calls it when they do a mix CD.
Should we name it now?
Let's call it. What should we call it?
Careful, this could bite us.
I know.
Bite us in the rear end in 10 years' time. Here's a great question. We got about. There's loads more to come through here, by the way. Vas Lacko says, when will there be a next Get Drunker session? And then he has posted the GIF. It hasn't come through in the comments, but now?
It's been a while, hasn't it? I'm too sensible now. I've got children, so it's difficult. I don't like hangovers and looking after children. It's not. So
I think we will do one. I think there's a chance of tomorrow, just not on camera, at the 10-year bash. So distance and pinch is just as bad as distance and tonnage together. Are you driving tomorrow?
I was gonna.
Right, there we go.
But we'll see. Who knows?
Right, so let's make sure I haven't missed any of these. So, what VST do you use to make your pads? They're always so wide and atmospheric. That's a good question, actually. I want to know the answer to this one.
Yeah, I mentioned it before. Atmosphere is amazing, and Omnisphere. But I use a lot of different techniques to make stuff wide. So you can either do it by using, ways of setting reverbs and ways of setting delays, or there's a thing called the house effect, I think it's called, where you have the same sound, one panned right, one panned left, but then you have one playing a few milliseconds early and one playing a few milliseconds left. So basically you're hearing one a tiny bit earlier on the right and then a tiny bit later on the left, and that gives you the idea of really wide. But that can work, but sometimes it can sound really wishy-washy and shit.
Is any of it done through outboard or external synths?
No.
Simple. No.
I've tried, and I've got a few simps laying around. They might have been turned on twice. I've owned them for like 4 years. No, not really.
Thank you, Daniel Barber, for the question. Good question, mate. Matt McVeigh. Hello, sir. It's been a long time. Before I ask this question, Matt and I went to Global Gathering about 3, maybe 4, probably 4 years ago. And we were going around, or sorry, he was going around, because he's more brave than I was, asking people, is dubstep dead?
Oh, yeah.
And this was a sore subject for me at the time. It's like, of course it ain't dead. You know, cut me open, I bleed dubstep.
Up.
You know?
What are you talking about, man?
But it was interesting to get people's responses, and getting it from him, because he's just such a character, was great, because you're asking people, he's asking people that are dubstep fans, people who don't even know what dubstep was.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Matt, by the way. Brought back some memories there. Matt McVeigh says, is dubstep dead?
Is it dead? I don't think it's dead. There's been a time, this is going to sound really controversial, but there was a time this year, at the beginning of the year, where I was like, maybe it needs to die. Like, maybe it needs to die and just completely vanish for like a year or 2 years, just so that it resurfaces and it's just completely different. And then everyone's like, oh my God, what's this? Oh, it's dubstep. I remember dubstep, but this isn't dubstep. Do you see what I mean? So part of me thought of that, but then there's still people making really interesting stuff, and people still, you know, touring around the world and releasing good music. But I think there's only really a few key labels that are keeping it alive, if you see what I mean. I think there's a lot of labels out there that, like I was saying, which I don't want to do, that are just releasing music for the sake of just keeping their label going, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's dead, and but it's definitely not as healthy as it was. And I think anyone that says it is as healthy as it was is lying. So, but that's not to say that it won't be.
Yeah.
But I think in order for it to be, people have got to come with new ideas, new approach.
Yeah. Question from Joseph. He says, Distance, why do you like my boy Afty? You haven't put him on chest plate yet.
Ha, who? Why do you like my boy Afty? Because that's a different thing. You see, that's on the new talent section, which I do on the podcast. Yeah. And that's exactly what that is. That's me going, I like this music a lot, but it's not necessarily going to be me playing it in a DJ set, and it's not going to be signed. But it's me going, this is still wicked music. Yeah, so gotcha. And that's why it's in the new talent section. That's me basically getting sent hundreds of tunes and going, these 10 tunes are wicked tunes. Yeah. But saying that, District was someone from the new talent section. Sleeper was.
Wow.
James Blake was. Ramadan Man was. Do you know what I mean? So like, it doesn't. Whatever. Yeah. But that's not to say it won't happen to people that send me stuff like that. So.
And then shout out to Shivers locked in. Good to have you with us, old boy. And then Damon D says, you seem to wear a Tech Life t-shirt. Do you work with footwork artists, or would you produce some tracks inspired by this style?
I would, and I have, but I think the real, true footwork people, their stuff's a bit crazy for me.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like bits of it, and I don't like some of it. So for me, mine will probably be too boring for the real hardcore footwork people to like. But I definitely like some of it, and I would happily work with people to produce it. Yeah.
And then we've got Cleary Mullard says, I was wondering how you decide on your melodies. They're often quite simple but atmospheric, especially in some of your classic tunes. We'll come on to the classics in a minute. I want to talk about some classics.
It's literally by me just messing around. Like I just play notes,
right,
and then record them. Or back in the day, I didn't really used to play. I used to just draw it in with my mouse, on the computer. But now I've been teaching myself piano, and I'm kind of learning now what keys are in. So I play everything in. Like everything on the album is all stuff I've played and worked out melodies and. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then we've got Brandon Barry. In fact, before we come on to this question from Brandon, if you've got any questions, add them in the comments below. We will get to them. We'll do our best to get every single one of them answered. So Brandon Barry says, Distance, what's your tips and tricks or advice on creating super low but prominent sub bass?
Harmonics. Don't. The thing that always caught me out is I had smaller speakers than these that did respond to really low frequencies, but they just made everything rumble.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh my god, this sub, incredible. And then you'd cut a dub plate and go and play it out, and you're like, it drops, and you're like, where's my bass gone? Like it's disappeared. And it's because most sound systems don't always go as low as your studio monitors. So then for me, you've got to create harmonics above the sub harmonic in order for you to hear it, and that's why I have these little speakers. So if I have something playing on my big speakers that are gonna show me sub bass, I will then flip to these little ones. If I can't hear it on them, then I know I need to create harmonics. It's normally around from about 90 hertz up to about, can be 200 hertz. So, and I do that with distortion or saturators, or what you can do is you can have your sub channel, and then you set up an auxiliary channel. I send a signal from the sub to this auxiliary channel, and on that channel I have a distortion. You're not going to understand this. So then on this auxiliary channel, I have a distortion, and what you do is you send a little bit of the signal from your sub bass to a distorted channel, and then that creates the harmonics that you hear rather than feel. Thank you.
Take a bow after that. I reckon the next session you should show us that.
Yeah.
So I missed a couple of questions here. How did you make the crazy sub bass in Terminate with pinch?
It was probably massive.
Right.
Yeah, probably massive. Or how did that go? I'm trying to run myself how that went. Yeah, it was probably massive. Or back in the day, there was software called Trilogy, which they don't make anymore. It might have been Trilogy, which was made by the same people that make Omnisphere. I can't remember what they're called, Spectra Sound, I think. So yeah, but it's probably massive. Yeah.
There you go. So a few people said, thanks a lot, look forward to banging out the album. So for those of you who haven't bought the album yet, just once again, it is out now. Go and get yourself a copy. We spoke about Killer P. But be easy in terms of turning up in the studio and
man.
Just lays it down, does he?
Well, see, not many people know, but there was a project that I started, it might even be 2 years ago now, which was BZ, Pokes and Crazy D. And there still might be stuff coming out of that.
Yeah.
But I've always loved like BZ's, well, same with all of them, you know, and Pokes obviously has never been on, no one's really heard him on a tune, so I really wanted to get him on a tune. But I've always been a fan of Crazy D and BZ, but for me with BZ, like when I heard stuff for his album, or when I hear him on the typical dubstep tunes, it's, you know, 16 bars and then a drop. Yeah. It's always like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's obviously what most producers want, whereas I want like a whole story. Yeah. And I know with him, like he, like from the stuff I recorded for the tunes with Pokes and Crazy, he does his bars, but each, you know, as he's telling the story, everything he's like, his voice changes, the emotion, he gets angry, and then like moments of like, almost like, you know, vulnerable. Do you see what I mean? So like I knew, like to have him on when I wrote that tune, Betrayal, I was just like, this is not what people would expect him to go on, but that's why he has to go on it, because I know he'll do it. He can deliver all of the emotions I want. So he, you know, straight away he was like, well, it has to be a love tune, a love song. So I was like, perfect.
So did he write the lyrics specifically for the track, or did he?
Yeah.
Right.
So I sent him. I remember I made the tune in maybe like a day, maybe less than that. It might even be like 4 hours. And I literally straight away I was like, here's a tune. Yeah. I want something. And then the following week he came here, and then that was it. He done it like straight away. Like I think we were done in 20 minutes.
Wow.
But again, it was like, you know, he run through it, and I was just like, you know, this bit, when you sound like your voice is breaking because you're that upset or that angry, I was like, that's what I want.
Emotional, yeah.
And I think, but that's not to sound like an idiot, but I think that's the difference between just being like a beats producer and then a producer that works with vocalists, which I knew nothing about until obviously working with other people. Yeah,
and that's one of the exact reasons why. Massive fan of BZ, always called him the Barbarian, because that guy's got bars for days, mate. He's got books of lyrics.
I know.
And tomorrow night at the 10-year bash, I'm playing back to back with Cyrus on vinyl with BZ on the mic. That's I can't wait, mate.
No,
Big up Cyrus.
I'm nervous about the vinyl though.
Ah, he'd be alright.
Like, there'll be Buddha fingers in there, clang, 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 clang. So, Brandon Berry says, thanks for answering that. Respect. Keep an eye on GetDarker since Dudley's taken over for years. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. That was a long time ago. You must be as old as me, mate. Someone says, should I get a chest plate tattoo?
Of course you should.
Definitely.
Your mum would like it, and your girlfriend would love it.
Toons Osiris says, how do you feel about the new style of dark dubstep getting played now compared to a few years ago, especially the music that DJ Youngster plays on his Rinse FM sets?
Who said that? What does he say? How do you feel about the new style of dark dubstep getting played now? I hate the term dark dubstep. I think it's really, really weird. Like, the whole... I don't even know if you're talking about Dungeon. Yeah. But, like, pretty much everyone that made dubstep at that time, and then people called it Dungeon, it was just like, oh my God, why are you calling it Dungeon? And then I think about a year later, all of us were just like for me, so quickly, I was just like, this is just so boring. It's just like, it is just like really dark and dank, kind of nothing music. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then so it's weird. Yeah, but no, Youngster, like, he's very clever. Like, I mean, he is very strict with what he plays, but he also does keep up with what's going on, and you know, and his ability to notice new little niches. And but I feel like that's what I do as well. I get so tired with stuff so quickly. Like, you know, the whole triplet thing, the whole 2 years ago, when I started getting loads of stuff like that, I was just like, this is done. Like, I can't handle this. Like, and I just can't. Yeah, I think the only tune I played like that was maybe a couple of Sleeper Bits and Under Control by Booker's Finest. Yeah. And as soon as everyone else, it was just, I'm done. You know, like, this is boring. It's like, you know, and I think that's the thing for me. It's just people need to just come up with their own ideas, really. But I like the new sounds that are coming around. You've got, I don't know, but there's still just so many little sounds, and it's just, I think it all just feels so loose at the moment, you know. But I feel like eventually it will all kind of come together, you know. So I don't know.
What about grime?
Grime, I love grime.
Distance Grime Productions.
Well, I don't know really. I mean,
obviously Terror Danger spoke to you. You speak to Terror Danger, which is a grime. He's a grime hero of mine.
Yeah. But let's just make something clear, right? Me and this guy, we were buying whites of 8-bar. Yeah. So before grime was called grime. Yeah. Years ago. So like we've been there and seen grime, the original, the first time round. Do you know what I mean? So like, that's right. I've always been a fan of it. And a lot of the stuff I wrote when I did stuff like that, what's it called? That tune, Can You, and Straight Up, and Long Live the Groove. At that time, so that was probably about 3 years ago, I was just sitting on YouTube, or I got all my old grime records out, and I was like, this is what it's about. I was like, it's just a vibe. Like, it doesn't matter about the mix down, doesn't matter about anything. And this was when really dubstep was so focused on everyone just trying to be as technically skilled as, say, Icicle or Noisia, which is great. But for me, when people got so anal about that, dubstep lost the vibe. Do you see what I mean? So then I went back. I was like, well, you know, why aren't I liking this? Yeah. And then that was it. I started just going back, even listening to like old garage. Do you know what I mean? Like I was listening to old EZ sets, listening to all the old grime stuff, and I was just like, and then you know, the early dubstep stuff. And I was like, this is what it's about. It was just a vibe. Like no one knew what they were doing technically. Yeah. So
and some of the biggest grime tunes are the most simplest tunes. Isn't they?
Yeah.
Even now.
Yeah. Well, like, you know, what was it? The Submarine, wasn't it? Or you know, well, it was Capsule and Submarine. Yeah. But that was just like, but that's why I loved it, because it was just 8 bars, wasn't it? It was 8 bars of that thing, and then 8 bars of this, just
like bow,
for 4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of the biggest ones. Someone's added, what's the difference between a producer and a musician?
Ooh, okay,
tricky one.
I can answer this perfectly. Musicians are blinded by their instruments, as in all they want to do is play their instrument. They do not know if what they're playing is good on a record. A producer is the person that listens to a musician going or a bass player going blah 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 blah, and you're like, that bit is good. Everything else, forget it.
Yeah.
You don't need it. That is the difference between a musician and a producer. That's what I think.
That's only well rehearsed. Has someone asked you that before?
No, I've just worked with lots of musicians.
Right.
The musicians are never wrong either.
What's your opinion on dubstep DJs going to house?
Doesn't bother me. It's just whatever. Like I think you know, like if tomorrow I woke up and just, you know, I mean, I'm saying already, like I hardly hear any dubstep that I like. So
yeah,
who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
You know, I could wake up tomorrow and decide that I love house music, and then I'm making house. Like, you know, I think it's different if someone's like, oh, hang on a minute, I can make a nice bit of money by making house music when they don't like it. Then that, you know, I suppose people can frown upon that. But even then, it's like if that's your career,
yeah.
You know, if you're working at Sainsbury's and you're like, but hang on, if I become an IT manager, you know, are you a sellout or are you just ambitious? Do you see what I mean? So like, I don't see anything wrong with it really.
Good way of putting it. Yeah. What else we got here? Why did you miss Outlook this year? Was it your decision? What about 2017?
I don't know. I wasn't at it this year because I wasn't asked to play it.
Well, do you know what? That makes two of us, right? If we rewind to 2012, 13, we had a GetDarker stage for about 4 years in a row. No, sorry, GetDarker boat 4 years in a row. Great parties, man.
Yeah.
Pirate boat. Then we done the GetDarker main stage. Oh, you're going to customer. I am.
It's going to have to turn the heater off.
Then the GetDarker main stage. Then I've never been invited since.
I know. Well, we did a chest plate stage. We did a chest plate versus Osiris, and that was incredible. You know?
Yeah, on the main stage. Yeah, I remember
There's
it.
probably over 1,000 people. But then I think it was just that thing. I think for the people that run Outlook, they just saw new sounds evolving. They were probably like, well, we can't just keep this a dubstep festival.
Yeah.
And there we go. But I have been playing at Outlook every other year, so I didn't play last year. So I'm assuming, Simon, I might be playing this year. But obviously next year is going to be 10 years of chest plate. So it'd be nice if we could incorporate something to do with 10 years of chest plate.
Do a chest plate pirate boat if I'm not there.
Yeah.
Fly the flag for us. Vote for Simon. GetDarker pirate boat, mate. 2017. Someone said distance will never sell out. Whoa, no pressure there, mate.
Nah.
Yeah, change your alias.
I won't. It won't be under distance anyway.
So in terms of where you're at a minute, so album's out.
Mm-hmm.
Great feedback on that, by the way. Wicked video with Killer P.
Oh, safe, yeah.
I want to walk around that estate though. And I grew up in Croydon. Like that looked a bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
bit.
It was alright. No, it was alright. You know, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah.
So album's done, out. Sleeper's next release on chest plate, sort of ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So what's sort of next? What's going on? I mean, what's going on here? Are you just writing beats? Are you, any projects on the go that we don't know about?
I'm producing a vocalist. I'm doing an EP for a vocalist, and then I've just starting work with another vocalist. So that's aside from me distant stuff.
Right.
Deleted scenes. We are making an album, so how quickly that will happen, I don't know. Hopefully next year there will be some deleted scenes released next year. Whether or not that's an EP or an album, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would really like to do like an EP on chest plate that's all vocals. So like one side, you know, one track might be Killer P, one might be Beezy, one might be I don't know. Whoever, do you know what I mean? Like, for me, that'd be wicked. Or for me, you know, one might be a female vocalist. Like, I'd really like to just do something that's quite mixed, where they're vocal tracks. That'd be really interesting. But again, it just depends if I can find the right people.
And somebody else has come through saying, given that the event tomorrow night is strictly dub plate and vinyl sessions only, which it is. There's no CDJs in any of the 3 rooms. I can guarantee you that. Have you and Pinch got any new deleted scenes material to show tomorrow night?
There will be.
Ooh.
There will be, yeah. I mean, there would have been a lot more, but because I've been ill this week and my ears are screwed, I haven't been able to come in the studio. So there would have been a lot more, but there will be some, yeah. Because there's stuff that we wrote last year that no one will know, and I know Rob's cut that. I'm hoping he's cut it.
There's probably not a lot Rob ain't cut.
No, probably not.
So in terms of a 3-hour set tomorrow night, what's your record bag going to look like? Is it, you're going to go one, but you're going old school boxes, or you're going to bring a suitcase?
It'll probably be an old bag, a UD, the normal
DJ bag on wheels, the old trolley bags, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we look forward to that. So that's tomorrow night. So it's at Fire and Lightbox. It's 3 rooms, about 1,200 people, RC1 sound system, and we've probably done 1,150 tickets. So there is literally 50 left-ish. So come on down. It starts at 10. It goes till 7 in the morning. Vinyl and dub plates only. That's going to be good. Deleted scenes. Distance and Pinch. We've got Mallow and Joe Nice for 3 hours for the first time. Me and Cyrus for 1 hour. I don't know if we're going to do 1 hour. I don't know. Let them 3 hours. We've got Beezy on the mic for that. We've got Pokes with Crazy D. We've got D1. Can't wait for that. D1 vinyl or dub plate set. Youngster and Jay Kenzo. We've got Badman Chef. Karma. He's a gem as well. We've got loads down there. So get involved. We're not streaming it. Strictly not streaming it. So come down. It'd be good to celebrate 10 years. So, any quick last questions before we go and I'm not going to say where we're going next, but we're going to go and pop out from here. So, big up. Oh, Cyrus looked in. Hey, you better get that bag packed, old boy. Big up Preston Lyon. Good to have you with us. Big up Danny Gray. Let's get through some of these shouts. Big up Compa. Here we go. Serious question. Distance. Would you ever take Darkside's haircut?
Would I ever take it? What, as in, would I have it myself?
I hope you're coming tomorrow, Compa, because we're going to have words, mate.
I will forever.
I reckon it'd suit you.
It might do. When I was a bit more chubbier, never. No, I look like a bowling ball.
So, Preston Lyon goes, I really dig the new stuff, so thank you very much. I think that's us done, guys. So thanks a lot for everyone who interacted. Hope you enjoyed it. Our first live Q&A. What a guest to have the first Q&A session with. This guy. It's a Distance. Thanks a lot, old boy.
Thank you.
Pleasure, mate. So, hope you enjoyed that. New album is out. It's got a nice picture of his face. Just once more, that is him. So there we go. So we're going to sign out. Thank you very much for those coming down to the 10-year tomorrow. I'll see you in there.
Peace.
Laters. Peace.